Hello everybody. Today on the table we've got a graphic card. I'm not a professional in repairing graphic cards, so we will learn together how to diagnose them and maybe try to fix this. I've got several cards before, so it's not the first time I'm checking this, but let's see what we've got. The man brought it to me, said of course it's not working. It's probably the Asus one, and the marking is, as we can see, it's different. It has different fans. One is broken. This is probably MSI, right? And the model is GTX 970 gaming 4 GB. As we can see, there is a seal, the original one, MSI. Probably it was never opened, because I think it hasn't been removed. Probably you can remove it if you make it gently, but I don't think that it has ever been removed. So I don't want it to put it directly to a riser. I've got a riser, I've got a motherboard, obviously I've got a monitor, but it's not wise to put it directly. First of all, we've got to measure the resistance on the main lines. Here we have PCI Express. We should check the resistance, if it's not shorted, because if it is shorted we can kill our power supply, we can kill our motherboard. Here I have let's try. Okay, let's do it. And we've got open circuit. Let's try to do the same in the diode mode. Actually, we've got to see something. Okay, here we saw something. Well, usually, okay, here we see. Yeah, but it's not a direct short. Let's go back to the resistance mode, and here we have PCI Express. We are interested in mostly in those pins. These are power pins, and these are differential pairs for transferring data. Here we should have about, actually we should put, this is the ground, you can connect your probe here. Here I have modified my probes just for these purposes. I can connect it somewhere here. I didn't make it just for graphic cards, it is convenient to have something like this. And on these pairs we should have mega ohms or kilo ohms. By the way, here I've got the PCI explanation, and we should check those pins. We should have ground somewhere and high resistance. If there is a low resistance, that is probably, okay, here's kilo ohms, that's the ground probably. Next one is 300 kilo ohms, which is okay. Kilo ohms, this is, next one should be the ground. Yes, so we might assume that our chip probably is good. This is of course just a estimation, not the closest one, because GPU has got lots of outputs and we cannot verify whether it's good or not by just checking this. But if PCI lines have low resistance, that means the GPU is bad. Next we should check the power. Here we have, on the 3 first pins we've got 12 volts that are coming from motherboard or from riser, whatever you call it. Here we have one power supply, the main power supply, 12 volts, and here we have another one. So we should check there and there always, because these are different. So on the 9 and 10 we've got 3.3 lines. But first of all we should check 12 volts. First 3 pins from both sides are 12 volts, and let's measure. And we've got 3 ohms. Really? Let's try this. First, yes. Second, and the third. So probably we've got a short on the main line. Let's try this, 2, 3. So the first one is probably not used. This is PR recent one. Yes. Let's check the second one. And yeah, we've got 3 ohms, sorry. 3 ohms we've got. And the ground is the fourth one. On the ground we have, this 0.17, because this is the resistance of my, resistance of my probes. Okay, that's interesting. So we have something shorted on the 12 volts line. From this side I don't see anything obvious, anything blown or shorted. So I think we should try to unscrew this and see what's inside. Maybe we will find something interesting. And let's do it with some music. Do I have anything? Well, so far, very often something might blow in here on the main line, but here is nothing. Our fuse is probably good because we could check it to the ground. How we should remove this? Did I forgot to? How it is removed? Something is holding it. All the screws are removed, probably. Okay, this is just was holding on this. And actually I don't see anything obviously blown. I thought maybe I would find something, but no. Sorry for not focusing. Let's try to see our fuses or current sense resistors. What is this? This is probably current sense. These are good. This one should be. This one is good as well. Well, so far I don't know what to think, because now I'm gonna study it more carefully. Maybe I will see in the microscope a blown component or somehow discolored. If I don't, I will try to put 1 volt here on the 12 volts, on the shorted 12 volts, and I think I will find the shorted component, because 3 ohms is quite enough to find a short, because when we have a shorted MOSFET, it is usually shorted like 0 ohm, and it is really difficult to find, especially with 1 volt, without having a camera, a thermal camera. But with 3 ohms I suppose I would be able to find it. So I will not show the diagnostic because it can take a few hours for me. I want to go through all of this carefully, but when I find something I will let you know. I wasn't able to precisely identify where the short was, so I decided to remove all the coils, because on some caps here, on the coils on this side, I saw the resistance which we have here. So if we measure from the plus 12 volts to these coils, to these sides, you see here is kilo ohms, here is also kilo ohms. Here we should see the resistance, also kilo ohms, kilo ohms, kilo ohms, kilo ohms. By the way, the resistance of, we are measuring not the resistance of the GPU. Resistance of the GPU we can measure like this, put one probe on the ground and like this. You see, 3 ohms. 3 ohms we have here. That's the resistance we saw here. when the coils weren't, where the coils were placed here. But let's proceed. So 12 volts. Here we should also have kilo ohms. Here we have kilo ohms, and here we have kilo ohms. So on the side of GPU, no short. So the GPU is 3 ohms, it's okay. Let's measure on the side of this. Mega ohms, here kilo, K, and bingo. Here we have direct short to 12 volts. So when the coil was here, we put 12 volts just on this side of the board. And as we can see here, this is the same copper line for all the coils. So I really hope that the GPU survived when 12 volts passed directly through this coil to this side. Probably some protection was on the power supply and it stopped functioning. But this is definitely the problem. There is no need to use any voltage injection, so this MOSFET is bad. Now I'm gonna remove it and probably try to start without one phase. There would be 5 phases. That if the problem was on this, that should give the picture. If the picture would be on the screen, I will order this MOSFET and that would be it. If not, if the GPU would not show any image, so probably 12 volts passed through here and killed it. But judging by its resistance on the GPU rail, here's on the caps of the GPU itself, we've got some ohms, so at least by judging by resistance the GPU looks decent. Okay, now I'm gonna remove this MOSFET. By the way, the removal of the coils wasn't easy. Now I have all the holes, but that was kind of difficult, so with the help of my little guy here, I managed to do it only with this one. Just adding some lead solder, touching it like this, touching it like this, and they just fell. But with a simple soldering iron, that would be really hard to do. Okay, let's remove the MOSFET and see, do we still have a short first, then try to check the image. Probably some driver died. Here we have drivers for the MOSFET for phases. Maybe it is shorted as well, I don't know, but let's see. And let's test the resistance now. Here we had from 12 to this side of the coils about more than 10 kilos. Yes, 17, 18. And now let's see this one. Yes, the same. So before we had a short, direct short to 12 volts. Let's see the MOSFET itself. Obviously one is drain or source. Probably this one is source, this one is drain. And now let's see the resistance, and as we can see, 0. Okay, probably this is the gate, or maybe this one is the gate. It's not a direct short, 15 ohms, so probably our driver had survived, because when it is direct short about less than ohm, it is very possible that the drivers also might be damaged, but here we have 15. So there is a good chance that this driver, maybe this one, is good. So now I'm gonna put all the coils back and obviously test it. If we have voltage on the GPU, if we have a picture, I will order, and that should be fine. Okay, here you can see the mess I've got for testing this graphic card. So as you might guess, I put back the coils except this one, and this is gonna be the first time we gonna check it. I connected it to a bad monitor because probably we've got some problems on the video lines, and we can kill a good monitor, which I have back there. For the heatsink, I'm gonna connect this copper piece, really heavy, and it is usually enough for testing even powerful graphic cards for several minutes. So I'm gonna put it like this through a thermal pad, and now this is gonna be the first time. Probably we could see some explosion, or maybe my power supply is gonna die. Let's see together. Oh, of course. As always. Sorry for that. And now okay, there is some, and we've got the image. So the card is working. That's good. That's really good. We should test the phases, and it's gonna be fine. Okay, that's cool. This monitor is also a little bit bad from the pieces, so the card is working. Okay, now let's see the phases. I'm gonna measure it on the resistors here. So the first phase, turn on the PC, and the first phase is here, second is here, we see the image, the third one is here, fourth is here, 5 is here. So we've got 5 phases. I will ask the owner, is he gonna restore the 6th phase, the last one, this one. If he wants to, I will order the transistor, put the coil back, and this is gonna be it. This will work like no problem. But I think for games that would be even 5 phases enough for middle power games. So that's it. Maybe somebody would find it useful. If you do, give it a like, and see you next time. Bye.